Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to find out everything I can about Japan, the people, the culture, the food, and today about 16 travel tips that I should know if I ever manage to get myself over Japan for the first time. Now, I have watched a few of these sort of tip videos before, I believe. I'm not sure if I've got any on the reaction channel, whether I've just been watching in my own time. Who knows? But let us find out what these top 16 tips are. And let's hope there's some good ones.
Number 1. Luggage delivery services.
I have heard of this, that you can get your luggage delivered and you don't have to take it yourself to where you're going. But I probably would travel quite light, to be fair.
Arriving in Japan, many travelers will feel fatigue and jet lag from their long flights. So the last thing
it is a long flight. This is true.
Your way in a new city is carrying around heavy bags. So why not take advantage of Japan's excellent network of luggage delivery services?
Oh, I don't know. But what? Just the thing is though, what if? What if it doesn't make it in a desirable time frame?
First day. Counters can be found at all airports and most train stations. They can deliver your heaviest items directly to your hotel, hostel.
See, I'll only imagine I'll have my hand luggage and one wheelie suitcase. I don't think I'll have too much. I should be all right. I'm not sure I need this service, but it's good to know it exists should I ever go for extendedly long time.
Or private residence, leaving you with just the essentials to explore, take in the sights, and enjoy your first day in Japan. Sending your luggage forward will typically cost between 1,500 and 3,000 yen.
Okay, that's not actually too bad.
To $20 US.
That's not
at the
bad.
time of recording. Number 2. Internet access. The single most asked question for
Yes,
travelers.
I need to know this because I really want to play Pokemon Go when I'm over there. I'm not actually being sarcastic at all. I legitimately really want to play Pokemon Go while I'm in Japan. And obviously I need to know because my mobile phone network was going to charge me £6.50 a day to use data in Japan.
Coming to Japan is how to get internet access or mobile data while traveling. Having access to maps, translation tools, or simply confirming travel reservations is essential in any foreign country.
It is. It's essential in your own country.
This can be sorted immediately on arrival at any of the internet kiosks found in the airports or electric shops in Japan. You can find both prepaid SIM cards or, better yet, rent a portable pocket Wi-Fi.
That's what we're doing. The portable pocket Wi-Fi.
Families or groups of friends can share. You can even order these online before your trip and get a discount while also ordering a Japan Rail Pass for
5,800 yen for 5 days. Okay, that is the one. That is the option that seems like the one I would like.
Incredible savings on your trip. I'll leave a link in the description and also in the comments on where to find this. And while you're down there, why not tell me what city in Japan you want to see the most?
No. Leave that down in my video, which city you'd like to see. I'd quite like to go to Kyoto for some reason. I don't know why. It's just not as busy as Tokyo, that's why.
And speaking of rail passes, don't forget to exchange your rail pass voucher for the JR pass when you arrive.
That's if we need one, because I know in October the prices are going up significantly. So I really need to like sit down and think, where am I actually going? Am I going to need this? Are we just doing a couple of train rides? So it's something to look into, this one.
The JR Pass can save you almost 50% of your travel costs, which can be hundreds of dollars based on a 2-week trip between Tokyo and Kyoto. But it must be activated before use. It's convenient to do this at the airport
I did know
to make
this.
sure you don't have any additional train costs. But you can also choose the activation date to maximize your savings. If you're traveling for 8 days with a 1-week pass and only plan to go to the hotel and pass out on your first day, then you can actually exchange your voucher for the JR Pass and ask them to set the activation date for the next day or any time within 30 days after exchanging it. It's up to you.
Yeah, because I did know you have to actually get the pass before you go to the country, because they send the voucher out to you in your own country because it's only available for tourists. So that is something we need to look into.
4. Getting from the airport to the city. After sending your bags, getting online and activating your train pass, it's now time to leave the airport and head into the city. Most travelers will arrive in Tokyo at either Narita or Haneda Airport.
Okay.
It often surprises travelers to learn that they are up to an hour away from central
Why is that a surprise to learn? I know like the big ones around London aren't exactly close to London.
Tokyo. Trains, monorails, and buses are great ways to get into the heart of Japan, but don't take the taxis.
Okay, taxis are always the most expensive. Oh yeah, obviously they're like that everywhere. They're really expensive.
Taxis are one of the most expensive methods of travel in Japan, and I
We won't
only
do
recommend
the.
them
I won't
in
do
an
the.
emergency.
I won't
A taxi
do it.
from Narita to Tokyo can cost upwards of 23,500 yen or $174.
That's a lot.
Be smart and use the train or bus.
Thing is, it's like I would like to use the train and bus because it's just more. I don't know. It's more exciting. If that's the word.
For travelers arriving in Haneda with an activated JR Rail Pass, they can use the Tokyo Monorail, which is covered. Travelers without the pass can use the monorail for 660 yen or around $5.
Okay, it's
the
not
Keikyu
that
train
much.
line can also be used, but it's not covered by the pass. Alternatively, take the airport limousine bus, which costs 1,250 yen, which is about $9. The buses are also great for travelers arriving past midnight. Narita is the main gateway to Japan,
I know because the trains don't run 24/7, do they?
but is further away from the city than Haneda. The best option here is the Narita Express, a direct train with special luggage racks for those not sending their bags forward, and it's free for those riding with the JR Pass. For those without the pass, it'll cost 3,000 yen or $22. The Narita Express departs every hour, and depending on your stop, will bring you to your destination in 50 minutes to about an hour. Narita is also serviced by limousine buses priced at about the same as the Narita Express, and those traveling on a budget without the JR Pass can take the Keisei line for 1,210 yen at a slightly slower pace, bringing you into the city in
I like a slower pace. I'm in no rush.
just over an hour and a half. Number 5. Get an IC card for a backup. The JR Pass can take you almost everywhere in Japan, but there are some private lines such as the Metro and Tokyo subway systems that are not operated by the JR
That is quite an intricate subway system. Hopefully there's an app that like explains it quite nicely like there is for the London Underground.
company. For these times, save yourself a headache fiddling with the ticket machines and grab an IC card. There is no drawback to having one since they can be refunded at the end of your trip, and they make for a good souvenir to remember your time in Japan. IC cards are especially useful when traveling between various lines that interconnect across Japan. They can be bought at basically every train station in Japan.
You just
And
top
what's
them
more,
up,
They
don't
can also
you?
be used for cashless payment at convenience stores and vending machines.
Yeah, that is something that I think is essential again, because I know like debit cards aren't always particularly taken in Japan, and I don't own a credit card, so that is a very good thing. There's a Nintendo Switch down there. Look, Nintendo Switch, nice.
Even if you are on the JR Pass and using JR trains exclusively, you can still find a use for these cards.
Yeah, I can do, even like if we had the pass, I think those would be essential as well. Just like say, because you can use them in other places, not just on the trains.
They are invaluable for anyone not on the pass. Number 6, always carry your passport with you. Now this might sound obvious, but there are those
I have heard that you like, obviously there's shops that are tax free, isn't there, for tourists? So if you've got your passport, you can get that. But I've also heard that you can get stopped by the police and you should have your passport on you.
of us who prefer to leave their passport in a secure place rather than carry it with them. However, in Japan, you may be asked to present an ID in the form of either your passport or foreign residence card to the authorities.
What's a foreign residence card? I've never heard of one of those.
Though this is quite a rare occurrence, but besides this point, you can also take advantage of tax-free shopping at many department or retail stores in Japan using your passport, such as Bic Camera or Don Quixote. Don't deprive yourself of this flat 10% discount on
I will
goods
not
and keep
deprive
your passport
myself.
with you wherever you go. Keep in mind though that many of the participating stores will charge you the full price first, and then you take your receipt and passport to receive the refunded tax at a customer service desk. Number 7. Using the Shinkansen bullet trains. It is now possible for JR Pass holders to book reserved seats on the Shinkansen online or via the green window ticket machines. This is fast, easy, and instructions can be offered in English. The days of showing your JR Pass booklet to the station master are now long gone, and you instead will receive a ticket that can be used in the automated gates. Non-JR Pass riders can also book tickets via the app SmartX. Once this is installed, first register your credit card and then
Another reason to have the pocket Wi-Fi thing.
link your IC card. This will allow you to pay for seats via the app and then simply tap your IC card on the ticket gates, pick up your ticket on the other side and travel like a pro. While taking the Shinkansen, don't forget to grab a train lunchbox or ekiben for your trip, as they are cheap, delicious meals that you can enjoy while watching
That one
the
doesn't look too
countryside
bad.
fly by.
That doesn't look too
Bonus
bad.
tip, you can actually spot Mount
Bonus tip.
Fuji when traveling on the Shinkansen, provided that it is clear when traveling from Tokyo to Kyoto. When traveling down from Tokyo, this will be on the right side of the Shinkansen, and the left when traveling back up. If you are traveling during the high season and can't find a seat on that side of the train, then you can also walk around freely and view it from the window between the cars to get a peek at Japan's most iconic mountain. Number
Photo
8.
op.
Be sure to check the Sakura forecast. Many travelers want to see Japan at its most beautiful in the 1 to 2 week window when the cherry blossoms
That is a very small window.
are in full bloom and the petals fall
I'm okay. I'll go whenever. Whenever the opportunity arises, that's when I would like to go.
through the air like snow. And this happens roughly the same time between March and April each year for most of the country, starting in the south and working its way north to Hokkaido. Every year, 1 or 2 months before they bloom, the Japan Meteorological Corporation releases the cherry blossom forecast with updated predictions for first bloom
Nice.
and peak viewing at every location in Japan, making it possible to plan
Yeah,
your trip to
I'm
get the
okay.
best
I'm
views
okay
of
about
the
that.
season. Simply
Whatever.
search for Sakura forecast and you'll find it right away. But be aware that this is the busiest time for travelers in Japan, so you might want to book early if Sakura are a part of your plans. Number 9.
I'm good.
Just don't tip. While
Yes, I've heard this, and that's fine because I don't really tip anyway.
you might want to reward the excellent service you
No.
find in Japan, do not be tempted to leave a tip.
I won't, don't
Most
worry.
establishments and waiters consider this to be rude, and they will even track you down the streets if you leave even a single yenny on the table. Don't inconvenience the establishment or the workers by doing this, as I've seen a lovely lady run out into the street, into the rain, getting her beautiful kimono dirty to return a patron's perceived kind gesture to them. The only exception to this rule is if they have a dedicated and clearly labeled tipping jar at the cash register, and then it's optional but never required. Simple as. Number 10. Getting your money. It's usually cheaper to get yen before coming to Japan on your trip, but currency exchange points are available at each airport and in most major cities. In recent years, most ATMs that can be found
I do know that I'm right. I don't know, but am I right in thinking that like you do actually need cash when you're in Japan? Because some places, especially like in the more rural areas, are not quite up there with the card and things.
at convenience stores allow you to access money using a foreign credit card. I always recommend people carry around 50,000 yen or more at any one time in Japan, because a lot of establishments have not yet gone cashless. I understand that some people are nervous by carrying around large sums of money on them, but remember that Japan is an incredibly safe country to travel to, even alone, and most Japanese will have 50 to 100,000 yen on their person at any given time, because that's just the norm here. Number 11. Wear comfortable shoes. Another one that sounds obvious.
I've only got really one pair of shoes at a time, so I'm wearing those. And they're walking shoes, so they should be all right.
But this tip is a real lifesaver in Japan. Many tourist spots are located close to one another, and you'll be putting away a lot of steps while you explore the country. Getting sore feet will only detract from your enjoyment. In addition, comfortable shoes are usually...
I'm going to be sore. I've just accepted that. I will be in a lot of pain anyway, because that's just how my body is at the moment.
easy to remove.
She sat
and
in the
there are
train
many places
tracks.
in Japan that will ask you to take your shoes off before you're allowed to enter. It's easy to know which places these are because they will have a dedicated shoe removal spot and a step to signify where you need to wear socks or the provided slippers. Being able to quickly slip on and slip off your shoes as to not hold up anyone behind you is a virtue in Japan, and having to fiddle around for a long time with complicated laces can be seen as quite foolish because of this. Number 12.
Oh, you fool with your Dr. Martin boots. Yeah, I've just got like walking shoes. They're just like normal shoes, really.
12. Book hotels from inside the country. When I released my How to Spend 2 Weeks in Japan travel itinerary video, one of the most common comments I received was that accommodation is much more expensive than what I listed for 2 weeks. Now this is because those commenters were searching from outside of Japan. Using a website like Booking, it's always cheaper when you're searching from inside of the country. To get around this, you can either book the first few nights of your...
That's scary though. So you probably just have to book somewhere for like 1 or 2 nights and book while you're there, but that's scary. My God, I'm worried now. I mean, when I looked though, because I have looked, and the prices weren't that bad, really. I think they were like, yeah, it was about £400 for like not quite 2 weeks, because obviously I think I want to go for 2 weeks, but taking into account the getting there, getting back, you look at more like sort of 10, 11 days, aren't you?
Your trip in your home country and then search for more after you land in Japan, or simply use the VPN service of your choice to switch your location to Japan and try searching again. Now, it is true that I like to book cheap accommodation because I want to spend my time outside of my hotel when traveling.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, if I'm there, I don't really care about where I'm staying, because that's not where I'm going to be spending most of my time. I'm going to be spending most of my time other places. I'm only literally going to be there to eat, to sleep, and clean. That's all I'm going to be in the hotel for.
And also that accommodation is slightly more expensive since Japan reopened to the world. But even as of today, while using this method, I was able to find dozens of accommodations in Tokyo for half of the price of my original estimate in my 2 weeks in Japan video. Cheap accommodation in Japan does not mean poor quality or dirty, just simple and Japanese sized. My recommended price range are between 3 and 6,000 yen per night for a nice city stay. Number 13. Get to know your konbinis. Convenience stores in Japan really live up to their name. They provide many different services like
I'm going to live off on a gilly, so it's like I don't have to spend much money.
Booking concert or bus tickets, paying bills or serve as a bank, and they can even be used to pick up and send packages.
My cat is like looking. I've changed the setup on my desk a little bit and she's all confused. She's like, how do I get over to him? Sorry, Kelly. Oh dear. I'm in trouble now with the cat.
Real draw though to any convenience store is the food and drinks they have on offer. Quality, cheap meals can be found here, and they make for a great place to get lunch on the go while exploring Japan. They can even offer hot meals and places to dine in.
That's cool, because it's like I don't really want to eat out every time that I'm there, because, you know, I don't have a lot of money. This is going to be a stretch, me getting there in the first place. So I want to like optimize so I can explore.
Some locations, most Japanese like to get a drink or snack outside of a convenience to eat so that they can take advantage of the trash cans that are rarely found.
That is a strange trash can. That is an impressively stacked trash can. I'm flabbergasted.
On the streets of Japan, usually only at konbinis or train stations, which is often why you don't see Japanese people eating while walking. Konbinis also have a great selection of cheap alcoholic drinks
I don't drink.
that make for a budget-friendly alternative to going to the bar. It's not uncommon to see groups of friends outside a convenience store on the weekends, fueling up cheaply before hitting the town. Bonus tip that drinking in public is perfectly legal in Japan, and buying drinks to go sit down in the park, river, beach, or under the sakura trees with friends is a great way to spend an evening in Japan. Number 14. Don't be afraid of the toilets.
Do you know what? I didn't think I would be. But that's a strange tip.
Japanese toilets have a legendary reputation.
They're years ahead of us.
And the different buttons in kanji can be quite intimidating, but they are really quite simple. Here is a quick look at what a typical Japanese toilet layout will look like with some translations, but you really only need to know the button for the bidet stop button, and the flush. The rest of the options are really just settings for changing the temperature, sounds, or self-cleaning maintenance.
Or maybe I want to change the sounds.
For the ladies. It's worth noting here that while most Japanese toilets will look like this, there is also the dreaded squatty potty. These are fairly uncommon in recent years, but you do tend to find them in parks or more rural parts of Japan. If you wish to know more, please check out the pin card here. Number 15. Make use of coin lockers. Coin lockers can be found all over Japan and offer
What if I don't want to make use? I've got a rucksack. I'll put stuff in that.
a place to store your shopping, luggage, or anything you don't wish to carry for that day. They can be found most often at train stations, but you also see them on the street or at tourist destinations. They are cheap and secure and cost between 100 and 500 yen. Many can also be paid for and unlocked with the swipe of an IC card.
There you go. That answered my question.
The largest ones can easily fit my biggest suitcase, and these can be great alternatives for luggage services on.
I guess that's good if you like on your last day when you're no longer have a hotel to stay in, but your flight isn't maybe until later on in the day. That could be actually very useful.
Days when you have checked out of your hotel but will not arrive at your next destination till much later. When I travel in Japan, I often arrive at the train early, check my
It's like we're on the same wavelength with this guy, isn't it?
My bags into the station's coin lockers and go explore the new area. However, to save more money, hotels in Japan are quite flexible about holding your luggage until the designated check-in time for that day, which is usually after 1 or 3 p.m. Number 16. Check your last trains. Japan has a reputation for being
You don't want to get
technologically
stuck
advanced,
somewhere, do you?
electric, neon, and never sleeping. This really isn't the case though when it comes to trains. It often surprises travelers to learn that most trains across the country will stop service between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m.
I'm not surprised because I have heard this before numerous times, so I'm very aware that the trains don't run all night.
Stumbling out of a tiny bar in Golden Guy at 2 a.m. only to learn that your last train back to your hotel has departed hours ago is an all too common occurrence. So either plan ahead or
It ain't a common occurrence for me, that's for sure.
make alternative accommodation plans for that night. Many bars and clubs will stay open until 5 a.m. when first trains start running again because of this. A couple of alternatives are to go to a manga cafe or karaoke room until the morning, where you can either try and get a few hours sleep or sing your lungs raw until the sun comes up at a cost of a few dollars per person per hour. The latter being what the locals do should they miss their last trains. If you're still undecided if the JR Rail Pass is worth it for your trip, or you simply want to learn more about how to use it and the alternative regional passes available in Japan,
okay,
check out this
that
video.
that is it for this video. That was a video by Inaka Adventure. So if you did like their video, I will leave a link down in the description. You can head over there and give them a like. But yeah, I think they were actually quite useful, some of those tips. I had heard of some of them before, but it's always nice to get these things heard over and over again, get them in my brain so I don't forget. Because otherwise I'll be like, oh, I forgot about that. Rubbish. But thank you so much for making it through to the end of this video. And if you did enjoy it, please go down and hit that like button and share the video with someone else who might like it. That is a really great way to help this channel grow and, you know, just get seen by more people. And if you'd like to see more of my journey as I try to discover everything I can about Japan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.